Okay, here's something I think a lot of us are wondering about. Are AI tools actually making us smarter? Or, are we just getting too reliant on them when we're trying to learn new things?
It's a really critical question, especially now. AI is just everywhere.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into AI's role in education. We've pulled together some really interesting notes looking at the benefits, the risks, and some key ethical points, too.
Yeah, the idea is to give you a solid handle on this, without getting totally bogged down in the technical weeds.
Right. We're mainly drawing from All Notes 515-2025 and a document called Briefing Document, AI in Education, Education 2.0.
And our goal really is to unpack this kind of dual nature of AI in education.
Yeah, the double-edged sword idea. Can it help make students, let's say, sharper? Or are we risking creating learners who are just dependent on the AI?
We want to pull out the really crucial bits for understanding what's happening.
Okay, so where do we start? Maybe with how education itself has changed.
That's a good place, yeah.
Yeah.
It helps frame where AI fits in. So our sources talk about these stages. You had Education 1.0, super teacher-centric, right? Focused on the basic 3 Rs, receiving info, responding, remembering.
Like the classic lecture hall model.
Uh,
Pretty rigid.
Very direct knowledge transfer, minimal tech. It shows how far we've come, but also those foundations are still key, and AI is now being used there too.
Okay, then 2.0.
That's when the internet really came in. Shifted to the 3 Cs: communicating, contributing, collaborating, online resources, early interactive tools started popping up.
The more interactive, definitely.
Then Education 3.0 built on that, more student-focused, teachers becoming more like facilitators, using tech, blended learning, trying to develop broader skills.
And that leads us to where we are now, Education 4.0.
Exactly, which is all about leveraging AI, sophisticated tech for really personalized learning, anytime, anywhere access, focus on showing you actually know how to do something. Competency.
It's interesting, though. Our sources mention that Education 2.0, the term itself is sometimes used now to just mean this whole tech-heavy environment where AI is a big player.
Right, it's like it's building on those earlier ideas of access and collaboration, but with AI driving a lot of the newer capabilities.
Okay, so let's get into that first edge of the sword, the smarter student idea. How can AI actually enhance our thinking?
Well, one of the big promises is truly personalized adaptive learning. AI can, theoretically, tailor content and the pace to each student.
Like, it figures out what I need specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Think adaptive platforms, intelligent tutoring systems. The notes mention Dreambox learning as a positive example. These things adjust on the fly based on how you're doing.
So it's not just about going faster or slower.
No, that's the key insight, really. It's about potentially different paths to understanding. And beyond pace, AI could support higher level thinking too.
How's
By automating the routine stuff, it frees up your brain power, your cognitive load, or using AI as a research assistant, but focusing your effort on critically evaluating what it finds.
Okay, that makes sense.
There's even this fascinating idea of students teaching AI agents, like in something called the Alter Math program. Apparently, teaching a weak AI can seriously deepen the student's own understanding.
Huh. Teaching the AI, I like that. It forces you to really get it yourself.
Exactly.
And our analysis also points to AI helping with specific skills, research, obviously, writing,
Yeah.
with tools like Grammarly or even ChatGPT math, too.
Yeah, it can potentially boost productivity, maybe even confidence in those areas.
But then, there's the other side, the risk of creating AI dependence.
Mm-hmm.
What does cognitive offloading actually mean here?
It's basically delegating your thinking tasks to the technology, like always using a calculator, even for simple sums.
Your mental math gets rusty.
Precisely. So if we constantly rely on AI for remembering facts, doing calculations, even drafting text, the worry is our own skills in those areas might weaken, atrophy.
And it's not just basic skills, right? What about critical thinking?
That's a major concern mentioned in the notes. This idea of fixation of the mind, if you always start with AI-generated ideas, does it make it harder to think originally?
You just kind of run with what the AI gives you?
Potentially. And there's some research cited showing a negative link between frequent AI use and critical thinking, especially in younger groups, like 17 to 25-year-olds.
That is worrying. Like, our thinking muscles aren't getting the workout they need. Our briefing doc also mentioned superficial learning. Can you break that down?
Yeah, superficial learning is basically getting the right answer, completing the task, but without really getting the underlying concepts.
You know how to use the tool, but not the why behind it.
Exactly. That Bastani study on math and ChatGPT is a good example. Students did better with the AI, but the gains vanished when they couldn't use it.
So they didn't truly learn the math concepts.
It suggests they learn how to prompt the AI, how to get the output, but not the deep understanding, like learning lines for a play without understanding the character.
And that can create a feedback loop.
That's the fear, the dependency loop. You rely on AI because you feel you lack the skill, but that very reliance stops you from developing the skill. It's a bit of a trap.
Okay, so potential upsides, potential downsides.
Yeah.
What's the actual evidence telling us? Is it clear-cut?
Definitely not clear-cut. The sources show a pretty mixed picture, which is important. There was a big meta-analysis studies from 2020 to 2024.
Right. What did that find?
It found AI assistants did cut down task time and improve programming scores, so a specific benefit there.
Okay.
But crucially, it didn't show a significant boost for overall learning success, more broadly defined.
So helpful for specific tasks, maybe, but not necessarily deeper learning across the board.
That seems to be one interpretation. It likely depends a lot on how the AI is used and what you're trying to learn. Some studies do suggest large language models can help with deeper comprehension sometimes.
So conflicting results.
Somewhat, yeah. And there's evidence AI can help in early childhood with basic literacy and numeracy. But then you contrast that with the Bastani study showing superficial math learning.
Right.
And that WGU Labs study on Pyron learning. Users liked it, felt positive about it, but no measurable academic improvement. The suggestion was maybe it just wasn't integrated well enough into the actual teaching.
That seems critical how it's used, not just that it's used.
Yeah.
And what do students themselves think? We have info on that too, right?
Absolutely. Vital perspective. And it's fascinating. One stat says 83% of students are worried that relying too much on AI could weaken their own thinking.
83%. That's huge. They see the potential problem.
They do. But another study found 88% of undergrads admit using generative AI for assignments they get graded on.
Wow. So they're worried, but they're still using it quite a lot.
It seems so. They see the productivity gains. It helps them get tasks done. But there's this underlying unease about where it's heading for their own skills.
That tension is really something. Which brings us to the educators. How does all this change their job?
Well, the role is definitely shifting. Less sage on the stage, more guide on the side. They need to be facilitators, mentors, helping students navigate this stuff.
Which means they need AI literacy themselves.
Absolutely. And they're balancing this push for AI personalization with the need for, actual human interaction, social learning. That's still incredibly important.
And is it potentially stressful for teachers too?
Oh, yeah. The sources mention potential cognitive overload for educators trying to keep up, integrate tools, manage everything. It adds another layer.
Okay, so given all this complexity, the potential, the risks, the mixed evidence, how do we actually aim for those sharper students and avoid the AI dependence? What are the strategies?
Intentionality seems to be the key word in our notes. It's about smart pedagogy, using things like project-based learning where AI is a tool for inquiry, not the answer machine.
And teaching students to question the AI.
Yes. Critically evaluating AI outputs has to be a core skill. And we need comprehensive AI literacy for students, teachers, everyone understanding what AI can do, what it can't do, its biases, the ethics.
Right, the ethical side is huge too. We didn't even dive deep into algorithmic bias or data privacy.
Which are major concerns discussed in the sources, especially bias affecting certain groups and the risks with student data. We also need actual ethical frameworks guiding implementation, human-centered approaches.
And finding that balance you mentioned.
Crucial. Balancing AI augmentation with developing core human thinking skills. That co-pilot idea versus autopilot. AI assists, you steer.
I like that co-pilot metaphor. It keeps the human in charge.
Exactly. And maybe adapting how we assess learning, too, so it's not just about proficiency with the tool.
And it sounds like students are actually asking for more guidance here.
They are. They see the productivity benefits, sure, but they're also voicing concerns about over-reliance and ethics. They want help navigating it responsibly.
They seem to use it a lot for the instrumental tasks, getting things done.
Yeah, positive experiences with the tech often drive continued use, especially for those efficiency gains.
Okay, let's try to wrap this up then. What are the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive?
I think the main thing is this powerful duality. AI in education is a double-edged sword. Using it effectively boils down to being intentional, being ethically aware, and really focusing on augmenting human intelligence, not replacing it.
That difference between the helpful co-pilot and the detrimental autopilot is everything.
Absolutely critical.
And for you listening, we hope this discussion has given you a framework, a clear way to think about the complexities here. the potential and the pitfalls.
Yeah, which leaves us with a final thought, maybe something for you to mull over. As AI gets woven deeper and deeper into how we learn, how do we make sure we're not just getting more efficient at using the tools?
But actually getting more profound in our understanding, more independent in our thinking.
Exactly. What's the responsibility there? For learners, for educators, for the institutions, how do we navigate this thoughtfully?
It's definitely something we all need to keep thinking about. So perhaps reflect on your own learning habits. How could you engage with AI in a way that really pushes for that deeper understanding, that sharper thinking?
A question worth asking.
Indeed. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.